I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 5 years now. When we first got together, everything seemed perfect. She was smart, witty, confident, pretty much the dream girl. We were planning our wedding, and honestly, I thought we had a solid future ahead. I mean, I wasn't perfect, but I trusted her completely, or so I thought. Looking back, there were little signs that I ignored or brushed off. She'd be unusually distant sometimes, or she'd get defensive when I'd ask where she was or who she was with. I'd catch her in small lies, things like changing plans last minute or being busy, when I knew she was out with her friends. Nothing too obvious, but enough to make me wonder if something was up. Still, I convinced myself it was just my paranoia. Women like Lisa don't cheat, right? She was too smart to screw that up. Then came the last week before our wedding. Things felt tense more than usual, but I just chalked it up to nervousness. She was acting more bitchy than normal, snappy, dismissive, downright rude sometimes. I'd ask if everything was okay, and she'd brush me off with some excuse about how stressed she was or how much she hated all the fuss. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. I thought maybe she was just overwhelmed or having last-minute jitters. But I was wrong. Dead wrong. Because what I found out, it changed everything. I wish I could say I was naive or blind, but I was. I just didn't want to see it. I never imagined Lisa, my wife to be, would do something so fucked up just days before we exchanged vows. It started with a slip, something small, something I almost missed. But it was enough to set off a chain of events I couldn't ignore or forget. One night I was sitting on the couch, scrolling through my phone, killing time before bed. Lisa was in the bathroom, brushing her teeth, probably trying to look perfect for the wedding that was just around the corner. I wasn't even looking for anything suspicious. I was just bored, honestly. But then I saw it, her phone buzzed. A message from someone named Jake. I didn't recognize the number, but the message made my stomach drop. It was something about how last night was incredible and can't wait to see you again. My heart stopped. I froze. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, so I opened the message thread. It was already a pretty long conversation, flirty, intimate, way too personal. She was talking about sex, about how much she enjoyed being with him, how she hated that I was going to be her husband soon. I couldn't breathe. It was like a punch in the gut. How could she do this? Right before our wedding, I felt a cold wave of betrayal that I couldn't shake. I stared at that screen for what felt like forever, trying to process what I was reading, trying to figure out if it was some sick joke. But it was. The messages kept going, and she was telling this Jake how she was so excited to see him again, how she wished I didn't exist. I couldn't believe it. My own wife, about to marry me, was planning to cheat, was already cheating, possibly even right now. I felt my world crumbling. I wanted to scream, to cry, to hit something. Instead, I just sat there staring at her phone, feeling like I was in someone else's nightmare. That was the moment I knew everything I'd suspected was true. Lisa wasn't the woman I thought she was. She was lying, manipulating, and betraying me in ways I never imagined possible. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed up, staring at the ceiling, trying to decide what to do next. Because once you find out your wife is cheating on you, everything changes. Your trust, your sense of security, everything is shattered. And I knew deep down I had to do something. I just didn't know what yet. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. My head was pounding, my stomach was twisted, and all I could think about was that damn message. I kept going over it in my mind, trying to find some way to pretend I didn't see it, some way to ignore the fact that the woman I was about to marry had been lying to me from the start. But I couldn't unsee what I'd seen. It was burned into my brain. I decided I had to confront her. No more hiding, no more pretending. Everything was fine. I was furious, hurt, and honestly a little scared. I didn't know how she'd react, whether she'd lie her way out of it or admit everything and try to spin some bullshit. Either way, I knew I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I waited until she got out of the bathroom, trying to get her to look me in the eye. "Lisa," I said, trying to stay calm but failing miserably. "Who is Jake?" Her face froze. She looked at me with those trademark bitchy eyes, the ones she used to get when she didn't want to answer questions. She blinked a couple of times, then scoffed. "What are you talking about? I don't have any idea what you're talking about." That was her first lie. I already knew better. I pulled her phone out of my pocket and showed her the message. Her face changed. The bitchy smirk faded, replaced with something colder, an angry, defensive glare. "Don't be freaking stupid, Mike," she snapped. "That's just some guy I met. It's not a big deal." "Not a big deal," I repeated, voice rising. "You're talking about last night, Lisa. Last night you told him you hated me, that you hated this wedding, and that you were so excited to cheat on me. How is that not a big deal?" She rolled her eyes. "God, you're such a drama queen. It's just sex. It doesn't mean anything. I was stressed out, okay? Things got out of hand, but it's nothing." "Nothing." I cut her off. "You're telling me it's nothing? After all the times I trusted you, after all the plans we made, you're just going to brush it off like it's nothing?" She scoffed again, crossing her arms. "Listen, Mike, I don't owe you any explanations. Yeah, I cheated, big deal. It's not like I'm some whore or whatever. I was just having a little fun. You're overreacting." Her words hit me like a punch in the stomach. Fun, that's what she called it. I felt the rage boiling up inside me. How dare she act like she was the victim, like I was the one overreacting. I was sick of her excuses, her lies, her bullshit. "Fun," I repeated through clenched teeth. "You think cheating on me the week of our wedding is just fun? You think you can lie your way out of this? Do you even realize what you're doing to us?" She looked away, brushing off her tears. Tears. I didn't believe it for a second. That was just her way of trying to look innocent. But I saw through her. She was angry now, defensive, trying to keep her grip on the situation, to keep me from leaving her or losing control. I knew I had to get out of that room before I did something I'd regret. I told her I needed some air, and I stormed out. I didn't want to cry, didn't want to scream, but it was all too much. I'd never felt so betrayed in my entire life. For the rest of the day, I was numb. I couldn't think straight. Was I really going to go through with this wedding? Could I forgive her? Or was this the end of us? I kept asking myself, how could she do this? How could she lie to my face, cheat on me, and then act like it was nothing? I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach every time I looked at her. And to make it worse, I already knew I couldn't trust her anymore. Not really. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, was gone. And honestly, I didn't even know who I was anymore. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, heard her excuses, and remembered those damn messages. I kept thinking about how she lied so effortlessly, how she tried to brush it off like it was just a joke. The betrayal cut deeper than I could have imagined. I kept asking myself what I did wrong, if I missed some sign, if I'd been blind that whole time. But deep down, I knew this wasn't about fault. It was about her choice to cheat, to betray everything we were supposed to have. The hardest part was figuring out what to do next. I knew I couldn't just pretend it didn't happen, not after seeing what I saw. I started to consider my options. Part of me wanted to pack my bags and walk away. Just leave her standing there with her lies and her stupid excuses. But another part, the stubborn part, wanted to confront her again, wanted to hear her say it out loud, why she did it, how she planned to fix this mess, if she even cared. By morning, I made up my mind. I wasn't going to let her get away with this so easily. If she thought she could lie her way out of it, she was dead wrong. I had to think about how to handle this, how to make her realize she couldn't just cheat and then go back to pretending everything was fine. I decided I'd wait until she was at her most confident, then I'd hit her with the truth, hit her where it hurts. I came home from work that day prepared to confront her again, but she was already acting like everything was normal. She was in the kitchen pretending to be busy with some stupid little task, but I could see the nervous flicker in her eyes. She was waiting for me. I didn't say a word at first. I just looked at her, studying her, trying to figure out what her game was. Finally, I broke the silence. "Lisa, I know what you did," I said. My voice was calm but firm. "And don't even bother denying it. I saw the messages. I saw how you talk about last night, how you're planning to keep seeing Jake. Tell me, how could you do this to me, to us?" Her face twisted into that familiar sneer, like she didn't care about my feelings. "Oh, please, Mike, you're overreacting. It's just sex. It doesn't mean anything. You're so jealous, it's pathetic." She rolled her eyes and scoffed like I was some insecure idiot. "No," I said, voice getting louder. "It's not just sex, it's betrayal. It's you lying right to my face about everything. You're supposed to be my wife, Lisa. How can you justify screwing someone else behind my back? Do you even care about me?" She looked at me with this wicked smile, all fake and bitchy. Honestly, I don't care what you think. I don't owe you anything. You're just some guy I was with before, and now I'm tired of pretending to be perfect. I want to do what makes me happy, and right now that's Jake. So if you want to throw a fit, go ahead. But it ain't gonna change anything. That was the moment I knew she was done. Done pretending, done caring. Her words cut me worse than anything else. I realized I was wasting my breath trying to reason with someone who was so clearly selfish and manipulative. I looked at her, feeling a strange mix of anger, sadness, and apathy. I couldn't believe I'd spent so many years trusting someone like her. I told her I needed time to think, that I wasn't sure what I wanted anymore. I grabbed my coat and left the house, walking out into the cold. I didn't know where I was going, only that I had to get away from her, from the lies, from the whole nightmare. The rest of that day, I just wandered around trying to get myself together. Part of me wanted to scream, to break something, to confront her again and rage at her face. But I knew that wouldn't fix anything. I was just trying to keep my composure, to decide whether I was going to fight for this marriage or throw it all away. Either way, I knew my trust in Lisa was shattered beyond repair. And honestly, I didn't see how we could come back from this. Not now, not ever. The days that followed felt like living in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. Every moment was filled with this heavy weight of betrayal, and I found myself oscillating between anger and profound sadness. I kept replaying everything, her words, her lies, that stupid message. The more I thought about it, the more I realized how deep her deception ran. It wasn't just the one night or one message. It was a pattern, a series of lies she'd been feeding me for years. I'd always been a guy who believed in honesty and loyalty, and I thought she did too. But her actions proved otherwise. It was like I had been blind, and now I was forced to see her true face. I didn't want to believe she could turn into such a manipulative, selfish person, but her behavior proved it. She lied so effortlessly, like she enjoyed twisting the knife in my back. One thing I did know: my mind wasn't going to let me forget this anytime soon. Every time I saw her around the house, I felt this surge of anger. I couldn't stand the sight of her, but I also couldn't stay away. I was trying to process what was happening, trying to figure out how to handle it all. I didn't want to be a fool, but part of me still wanted to save what was left of us. The other part, the smarter part, knew that trust was gone, and maybe it was better just to cut my losses. I started looking into what my options were. I talked to a few friends, trying to get some perspective. Some told me to walk away, to protect myself from further pain. Others said I should fight for her, that maybe she was just confused or scared. But deep down, I knew this wasn't something I could fix with words or promises. Lisa was who she was. She'd shown me her true colors. One night, I decided I needed to confront her again, just one more time, to hear her explanation. I wanted to see if she was capable of remorse, of owning up to her actions. I sat her down in the living room, her eyes flashing with that bitchy glare she always had when she was trying to manipulate her way out of trouble. "Lisa," I started, voice steady but angry, "I need to know why. Why did you do this? Why did you lie and cheat on me right before we got married?" She scoffed and crossed her arms again. "Look, Mike, I don't owe you any explanations. I was just having fun. I was stressed, and Jake made me feel alive again. I didn't mean for it to get this far, but honestly, I don't regret it. You're so boring, so predictable. I needed something different, something exciting." I shook my head, feeling my stomach turn. "You don't regret it. You're lying to yourself if you think that. You think this is just some stupid fling. It's not. You went behind my back, lied to my face, and now you want to act like I'm the one being unreasonable." Her eyes narrowed and she spat. "You're overreacting. If you had any balls, you'd just get over it and move on. I don't want to be with someone who's gonna act like this all the time. Maybe I'm better off without you." That was the moment I realized she was done. Done pretending, done caring. She was just trying to push me away, make me feel small, so she could keep doing whatever she wanted. I looked at her and felt something break inside me, a mixture of disgust and heartbreak. I wanted to scream at her, to shake her and tell her how much she'd hurt me, but I just stood there, silent, feeling the weight of it all. I decided then that I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay. I told her I needed some time to think, that I didn't know what the future held. As I got up to leave, She looked at me with that same bitchy smirk, like she was already planning her next move. That moment I realized I was at a crossroads. I could forgive her, try to fix this mess, or I could walk away and leave it all behind. Part of me wanted to fight for us, to believe in some miracle of redemption. But another part knew that trust, once broken like this, isn't easily repaired. And I also knew I wouldn't be able to look at her the same way again. The woman I married, the woman I thought I knew, she was gone. And honestly, I didn't know if I could ever get her back. The days turned into a blur of confusion and unresolved emotions. I moved out of the house, not because I wanted to, but because I knew I couldn't stay there and pretend everything was fine. Every time I walked past her, I felt like I was breathing in betrayal. My mind kept racing, trying to process how everything had fallen apart so quickly. Just a week ago, I was looking forward to our wedding, imagining a future together. Now I was questioning everything: my judgment, her sincerity, even myself. I stayed with a friend for a few days, trying to get my head straight. Honestly, I was scared. Scared of what this meant for my future, scared of the pain I was feeling, and scared that I'd never be able to trust again. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, that bitchy smirk, and those damn messages. How could she have lied so effortlessly? How could she have damaged us so badly with just a few words? One thing was crystal clear: I couldn't keep living like this, constantly reliving the betrayal. I needed a plan, some way to get closure, whether that meant fighting for us or walking away for good. I decided I'd give her one last chance. To come clean, to tell me everything she'd been hiding. If she truly wanted me to consider moving past this, she had to own her actions. No more lies, no more excuses. So I reached out to her. I told her I'd be willing to meet, to talk face to face. Her response was classic Lisa. She acted like I was overreacting, like she didn't see what the big deal was. She told me she was sorry if I misunderstood, and that she never meant for it to go this far. Yeah, right. Sorry doesn't cut it. Sorry doesn't undo the fact that she slept with my brother right before our wedding. My brother, that's a whole other level of betrayal. I was furious when I found out. Apparently, Lisa had been screwing him too, or at least that's what I later discovered. I kept asking myself, how stupid was I to trust her, to think she was just some innocent girl? She was lying to me from the start, and I was too blind, or maybe too in love, to see it. I confronted her again, this time more directly. I told her I knew about her affair with my brother, and her reaction was classic Lisa. She denied, lied, tried to turn it around on me. Said I was imagining things, that I was jealous, that she never slept with him. But I had the messages, the proof. I wasn't about to let her gaslight me anymore. I told her I couldn't do this anymore, that I was done. That night I felt a strange mix of relief and emptiness. Relief, because I finally had the truth, and emptiness because I realized my entire life with her was a lie. She had been sleeping around, lying, manipulating me all along. The woman I was supposed to marry was nothing more than a selfish cheat, and I was the fool who didn't see it coming. I made the choice then. No matter how much it hurt, I was going to cut ties. I was going to get out of this nightmare. I knew I deserved better. I deserved someone who wouldn't lie or cheat or betray me in the worst way possible. I'd spent so long trying to hold on to what we had, but now I saw it was just an illusion. So yes, I'm in the process of ending things. It's not easy. It's not pretty. But I know in my heart the only way to heal from this is to walk away. And if I've learned anything, it's that trust is fragile, something you shouldn't take for granted. And people like Lisa, they only prove that sometimes the people you love the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. Looking back now, I realize that this whole experience has changed me in ways I never expected. Trust was the foundation of everything I believed in, and having that shredded so brutally has left scars I'll carry for a long time. But at the same time, it's taught me something about myself. I'm stronger than I thought. I survived betrayal on a level I never even imagined. And in the end, I understood that I deserve honesty, loyalty, and respect, things Lisa clearly couldn't give me. I've started to rebuild my life piece by piece. I cut ties with her completely. No contact, no looking back. It hurts like hell to let go of someone I loved so much, but I know it's what I have to do. I've been seeing a therapist, trying to work through the anger and sadness because I don't want to carry this weight forever. It's not easy. There are days I feel broken, days I cry myself to sleep, but I refuse to let her betrayal define me. What I've learned from this is simple. Never ignore the signs. Don't be naive about the people you trust. And most importantly, don't let anyone treat you like you're disposable. Because the truth is, she didn't just cheat on me. She robbed me of years of trust and made me question everything. But I've come to accept that sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away and start over. To anyone reading this who's going through something similar, I want you to know you're not alone. It hurts, yeah. It feels like your world is crashing down, but time heals. Protect yourself. Don't make excuses for betrayal, and know that you're worth so much more than someone who lies and cheats. You can survive this, and in the end, you'll be stronger and wiser for it. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know I'll be okay. I've learned to trust myself again, to listen to that voice inside that tells me what's right. And I'll never forget what Lisa did, because it's a lesson I won't repeat. Sometimes, the greatest act of self-love is walking away from what no longer serves you, no matter how much it hurts. And that's exactly what I've done.